No, I'm muted. Hello! Could you say something, Yana? Hi! Hi, everyone! Hello, hello, hello! Can you hear Yana? Just well? How's Yana's volume? Wow!
Yena.
Yana! Thank you so much for joining this edition of Tarot Talks. I hope that you're doing well, and I'm so happy that you decided to. Well, not decided to. So happy that you're here. Thank you for joining me.
For having me. Thank you for inviting me.
And just real quick, do you want to introduce yourself to my audience?
Yeah, sure. Hi, everyone. My name is Yana Youngblood. I'm from Idol's newest generation, Wildfire. I'm a hyena VTuber, and I do a lot of endurance streams. I just played 24 hours of Minecraft.
24 hours is crazy. Like 24 hours non-stop?
Yeah.
Whoa!
It's just casual. It's just casual,
I don't know about casual anymore. It sounds like it's taking over your life.
It's just because it's the last day of the event, and I just want to get the most out of it. I'm not addicted.
Yeah, no, you're not addicted. No, not at all. Like 24 hours is just light work. If it was addiction, it would be like 72 hours, right?
Exactly.
Right. Okay.
If it was addiction, I would have peed at least only one time, but I peed 3 times. So
3 times in 24 hours?
yeah, that's pretty good. I would
That's
say.
pretty concerning, no?
What? No, I think that's pretty good. I think that's
Yenna,
pretty average.
Yenna, I feel like on average you should be peeing at least 4 to 5 times a day.
Yeah, 3 times in 24 hours. That's like not counting me being asleep, you know.
Well, you weren't asleep though. Okay, maybe I
I'm
just
drinking
pee way
water
more.
right now. I'm drinking
Okay.
water right now.
Okay, maybe I just pee way more. Maybe I'm just a little piss monster or something. I pee a lot. Okay, so thank you so much for joining this version of Tarot Talks. I'm so excited to have you here. And just a little precursor for you and as well as your viewers who have joined us today. So Tarot Talks is basically a talk show where I invite guests on and they ask me questions, and while I shuffle for to answer their questions, I basically ask them questions about themselves, get to know them a little bit better so that you, your audience, and my audience can get to know you as well. So yeah, and yeah. So have you ever had gotten a tarot reading before?
So it's really funny you asked that because I got a tarot reading at Offkai last year.
Oh,
It was actually, it ended up being really accurate.
Mhm.
I forgot. So it was just a 1 card tarot reading.
Yeah.
But I asked about like what my future in VTubing is.
Yeah.
And I think I got, it's the one with the lady with the cups and she's crying.
Oh, yeah. I think the four or 6 of cups, one of those.
Yeah, it was the one where it was like you'll experience failure and you'll experience hardship, but
Mhm.
like, you know, like you'll overcome it. I think it was
Mhm.
reverse or something like that.
Mm.
And I was
Mhm.
like, what? No, that's crazy. That's and then it happened. So
Oh, yeah, no. You know, sometimes you never know until like you're really in it and then you're like, wait, this is fucking happening. Like you forget, and then after it's done, you remember the tarot reading.
I'll be like, huh.
Yeah. Also, real quick, can you speak a little bit? Some people say that you're a little
Hello,
bit
everyone.
quiet.
This is my stream voice. And today I am going to be on Adora Fortune's
No way! No way!
Welcome to 97.3 Tarot Talks with Adora Fortune.
And Yenna Youngblood! Let's go! Okay, is her volume better now? Because some people were saying you were quiet, so like I bumped you up as much as I could. I think.
Damn, I'm as much as is this Xbox mic now?
Yeah, it's like the crunchy
Hello,
Xbox.
Guys,
Guys, who's
You guys
griefing my Minecraft house?
you guys got get
You can't grief my Minecraft house? What are you doing? Please don't take the iron from my chest. Okay, but that's really exciting to know. So do you maybe have any questions for me to start us off with?
Yeah, I want to know how many readings you've done. Like,
Oh.
like is this something like you do for like other people in your life, or is this sort of like something that you enjoy doing just as like a hobby? Like, I'm curious to like what your extent is in sort of like reading cards.
In reading cards, okay, so I would say I don't really do it that much actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I used to do it a little bit more. I used to do like paid tarot readings like years ago. And
Really?
yeah, this was like 4 years ago, I think. And then for some reason or another, I just fell out of it. Like I stopped doing tarot reading like completely. And so I just didn't I did that like 3 to 4 years ago. And I would do, I think 1 reading per day or like 2 readings per day. And this was like a side hustle of sorts. So I did that for a while, and then like I got really busy with life, right? And I just put down my cards and I never used them again. Because at the same time too, I didn't really feel very connected to it. Like I was doing it, I was doing it, but I didn't feel very connected to it, so I stopped. And then after that, I gave it like a couple of years break. So I didn't pick up my cards at all until I came into consciousness as Adora, and I was like, I'm a High Priestess. I should do tarot readings. Like I still do regularly receive tarot readings. Like I go out and get them from other people because I don't trust myself. You know, there's like a bias when it comes to reading for yourself.
Yeah.
There's like a biasness when it comes to reading for myself, and so I think that it's like I don't trust myself to do it, like to basically read for myself.
I see,
Yes. So I think that Yeah, and then I started practicing before I debut as Adora, so I've given like about 20 readings by now, I think. You are the probably the
Wow.
21st. Yeah.
Oh my god, 21?
21. Yeah.
That's
21.
the guy from the meme.
Yeah. Yeah.
21?
Can you do something for me?
Oh, that's not the one I was thinking
Oh wait,
about.
never mind.
You know, the Vine where he's like,
21?
what's 10 plus 9?
Oh,
21?
21? Oh dear. Vine. Oh my god, I miss Vine.
I miss Vine too, dude.
Oh my
I was
god.
referencing a Vine the other day. I don't know if you know this one.
Which one?
The guy who was like, oh, like, you know, like, who's been your hottest Uber driver or something like that? And the guy's
Uvu
like,
Javer?
I don't know Uvu Java. Yeah.
Yes! Oh my god. But
I
yeah.
actually, in college, I found out some really crazy things about that guy who's in the video.
I know
Do you know?
exactly. Yes,
Do you know?
I know. Doesn't
Oh my
he
God,
like
it's
and
so
his twin?
cute.
He has a twin.
Yes!
Yes! Oh my god. Oh
Yeah,
my
they do,
god.
they do like OnlyFans stuff, but like
Together.
they're brothers, but they
yeah.
also like present as femme, you know, like
Yeah.
it was just like, oh, I'm like, whoa.
Oh,
Wow,
yeah.
this is not what I expected Uvu Jabber to end up, you know, like
Right? Oh my god. And there's that oh my god. Do you know that kid with like the spoons on his eyes?
yes.
Yeah. That kid transitioned. Like came up on my For You page. Yes!
Wow.
I know. It was crazy. Oh my god.
That's crazy, dude.
That's crazy. But
You feel old now, guys? You feel old now?
I feel my bones grinding to dust. Like now when I think about like Vine, like when I reference Vine, nobody knows what I'm talking about. What the fuck?
Yeah, man.
It's
a
all
little
about
crazy.
TikTok now. It's all about TikTok now. But yes,
It
do
is all
you
about TikTok.
have any questions for me with regards to tarot maybe? Like is there anything you want to
Yeah.
ask the cards?
You know what? Let's go at it again. Let's see how is VTubing gonna be for me this year?
Okay.
'Cause that was the question I asked last year.
So this year in 2024, Yena's question is, how will VTubing go? Correct?
2025, you mean?
2025. Sorry, I'm stuck in the past a little bit.
It's okay. It's okay. I feel you.
Yeah. So, okay, while I shuffle for your cards, because it can take some time for the cards to come out, how about you share with us, you know, are there any goals that you have for, you know, VTubing in particular? Like, you know how some people have really specific, like really niche goals, like, oh, I want someone to have a photo card of me, or I want someone to, you know, perhaps, yeah, like, wear a happy of me or something. Do you have any
Ooh.
hyper specific like goals?
Yes, I have a hyper specific goal. I really want an Itasha of something. Like it doesn't have to be a car.
Yes.
I'm down for a motorcycle.
Yes.
I want an Itasha of Yena on something. Like
that would be so cool. Yeah. Oh
yeah,
my God.
I think that's something that I think is really sick. I also really want to do a concert, but I feel like that's just like every VTuber, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Every VTuber wants to do a concert.
Every
Would
VTuber
it
wants to do a
be
concert. Like,
3D?
yeah.
I think 3D, right? You want to do a 3D
I want
concert?
to do 3D concert. I also really want to, so it less like metric goals, but like I really want to start doing workout content. Because I kind of made Yena with that in mind.
Yeah.
Like the idea of like, oh, she would do like fitness content or like, you know, stuff of that vein.
Yep.
And it's been difficult to get stuff started on that, but
Yeah.
things are kind of rolling again.
Oh my God, that's
so-
exciting. Can you share maybe like what kind of workout content you would do maybe? Like would it be like 3D or like would it be like green screen or like what kind
so
of
the idea is that I want to do like 3D workout content, and it'd be like sort of I kind of guide you through the workouts and kind of give you like form technique or like, you know, what you should focus on. Be like, oh, you should focus on your, you know, upper abs, you know, like really feel it in those abdominals, like, you know, suck your belly in, you know, like don't strain your neck, kind of like those pointers like that, kind of like how an instructor would be.
Yeah.
But like we would have like mid-intermission breaks, and then I would
Mm-hmm.
give like like maybe Q&As on like, oh, like hey Yana, I
Mm-hmm.
was doing this exercise, I felt a little bit weird, like is there anything
Why?
like yeah,
Yeah.
like we can talk, you can do about it, blah blah, right?
Uh-huh.
But yeah, stuff like that. I want to do more like fitness based content, but it's like
Yeah.
for example like Ring Fit, right?
Yes.
You can't really do much with a live 2D model when you
Yeah.
play Ring Fit because it
Yep.
just looks a little funky,
Yep. Yep.
So I want to do more of that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I want to do more workout content.
That sounds so cool. That's really interesting. I don't think I've seen much, if like any, really workout content that way. So I think that would be really cool to see and to have in the
Yeah.
space too. Yeah, that's really interesting. I really love that. And is there any like is there a like how did you get into like fitness content perhaps? You could share?
Oh, I don't know. Fitness content in general was more so like because
Mm-mm.
okay, this goes back a little bit
Yes.
farther, but I ended up tearing one of my major tendons when I was in college.
Mm-hmm.
It was a tendon in my knee called the MPLF.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a clean tear. So and you know how like
Oh,
your knee
yes.
like goes like up and down, not up and,
Yes.
like it goes forward and backwards, right?
Yes.
So my knee was going side to side like a pendulum.
What?
Yeah.
Oh my god, that sounds so painful.
It actually wasn't painful until the swelling started,
Uh-huh.
surprisingly. But
Uh-huh.
I had to go through reconstruction surgery. I had to go
Mhm.
through a year of rehabilitation. I wasn't able to walk for the first year that I had that
Yeah.
injury.
Yeah.
And I gained a lot of weight, and I also got really depressed because I was like,
Yes.
I feel so incapacitated.
Yeah.
I can't do stuff,
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Mhm.
And so when I finally made it out of like physical therapy and I was given the clear to
Mhm.
like, go back to kind of just easing back into things,
Yes.
okay, I kind of went ham and I was like,
Uh-huh.
all right, I'm gonna become the strongest power lifter in the
Yeah,
world
yeah,
now,
yeah.
like it was very
Yeah.
much so like zero to nothing, like zero
Yeah.
to everything, 0 to 100.
Yes.
That's what it is, yeah.
Mhm.
Um, but went through that whole phase of like counting calories, of like making sure my macros are correct, and
Yes.
like looking at my body fat. Like it was
Mhm.
very bad for my self image of my own body.
Mhm.
Because like I was thinking like there was this one time I was like, oh, like in order for me to feel like myself again, I need to get
Yes.
below like 18% body fat. For
Yeah.
women,
Yes.
that's really low. Like what 18% is
Yes.
really low because we have the
Yes.
primordial pouch. So like
Mhm.
that adds a lot of body fat to our overall body fat
Yes.
calculation. But yeah, it got so bad to the point that I was losing fat so fast. I was shredded, don't get me wrong. I looked really good, but I
Mhm.
also was really stressed. I lost my period.
You didn't feel good.
And I didn't feel good. Yeah,
Mm.
I didn't feel good at all. I had really bad self image issues. Like I was very self aware of like even the littlest like bloating and stuff like that.
Mhm.
And so I took a year off of working out and I just kind of like
Okay.
reevaluated stuff.
Yeah.
But I came back at it with a much healthier perspective and a much healthier attitude. And all of that was because I, did a lot more research. Like I did a lot more
Yeah.
research online. I found content creators who, were well versed in these things. I studied on my own as well and stuff like
Yeah.
that. And so like I was able to learn a lot from people online and feel a lot more confident in going back to working out in a healthier way rather than
Mhm.
just kind of like punishing myself for not reaching my goals. And so kind of like what I want to
Yeah.
do is inspire other people as well to,
Yeah.
better themselves, improve themselves, but in a sustainable manner. It's like in
Mhm.
a way of understanding of like, oh, this isn't gonna be like change overnight. This isn't
Mhm.
gonna be like something that's gonna fix your life,
Mhm.
but this is one small step you can take, maybe possibly making your life a little bit more happier.
Yes.
And that's kind of like the community I want to like foster as well. So it really fits well
Yeah.
into like the fitness community sphere as well.
Yeah, that sounds really interesting and really good. Yeah, because I think that's really, really easy to fall into like the trap of comparing yourself to like a past version of yourself or even to other
Oh
people.
yeah, man. Don't
Yeah.
even woo.
Don't worry. I understand
That's
more
like
than anything.
VTubers'
Mhm.
biggest enemy.
Yeah,
Comparison
comparison.
to the past. Yeah.
Yeah, because they say that comparison is the biggest thief of joy, and I think that's like
Mm-hmm.
100% true, right? But I'm really happy to hear that you improved yourself and your mindset through that. I'm really happy to know that you were able to you know, take a break and to evaluate and reevaluate why you want to work out. Is it like because you want to look good? I think there's a difference between wanting to look good and to be healthy, right? Because
Oh,
being healthy is
100%.
different.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I mean,
Yeah.
like a lot of people with like, I mean, this is just a little bit like of I feel like with little known fact, but a lot of people who are shredded and a lot of people who
Hmm.
are like very toned,
Hmm.
you would be surprised as to how unhealthy they actually are.
Yeah.
A lot of them are not drinking enough water. They are purposefully dehydrating themselves to look more toned. You know, a lot of
Oh.
them are also not eating a balanced meal.
Hmm.
They're eating like very much so like keto diets and stuff like that
Yeah.
to look toned, you know?
Yeah.
And it's not good for you in the long run. Like keto diets put you into ketosis. That's like
Yep.
a whole thing with your like blood acidity
Yeah.
turning, you know, even worse. And it's like that causes other issues in your brain. It's just a lot, you know, like,
Hmm.
but I think one thing that I really want to promote, at least for me, is that
Yeah.
I took a very hard dive into dieting. Like
Hmm.
I was like intermittent fasting, keto, you know, I'm gonna do like a paleontologist diet, whatever it's called. I don't remember. I don't even at this point I don't even remember what it was called.
Hmm.
But um I really want people to like avoid falling into that trap.
Yeah.
And I always encourage additive diet, you know, like it's like
Hmm.
eat what you want, but try to include more healthy things into it. And
Hmm.
like that's 100% more sustainable. It's gonna be better for you in the long run, stuff like that. And like
Hmm.
just wanting to kind of put forward the sentiment that it's okay to like, you know, kind of have uh bounce backs, you know, like one day it's like you eat a little bit too much, you know, one day you eat more dessert than usual. It's okay,
Hmm.
you know, it's like
Hmm.
it's not a linear pathway. It's something that you take with like, you know, the courses of your life and
Yep.
you adjust it accordingly, right?
Yep.
But yeah, that's kind of like my sentiment in wanting to get into fitness stuff is that I had a lot of help from people online
Hmm.
who gave me a very good sense of community and a very good sense of belonging when I was at my lowest point with my body security.
Yeah.
And I want to be able to, like, you know, provide a space where hopefully, you know, people can also feel included in that.
Oh, that's really nice. Yeah, I think that it's very hard, very easy to get lost with like fitness content because you know you don't know what to do. Like I've been there, right? Where I was like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go to the gym today. I'm gonna go to the gym this year, and I'm gonna go every day or like every 3 days or every 4 days or whatever. And then I get there and I'm like, what the fuck do I do now? And I'm like, what? And I just go on the treadmill because it's the only thing I know how to use. And then I'm like, but I want to do that too, but I don't know how to do it. And then I feel
Sometimes
like
it'd
a
be
lot
that
of
way, yeah.
people, yeah, a lot of people just don't feel confident going to the gym because there's so much. But it's really inspiring to know that, you know, you want to do that for other people. Like you want to be like, okay, you know, if you're too shy to go to the gym, you can do workouts at home with me. You know, I follow home workouts all the time. I think that would be really cool
Yeah,
to
me too.
have
I
like as a
love home
YouTube series.
workouts. Yeah.
Yeah, because you don't have to pay money to get swole, you know, to get fit, to get
You don't need a personal trainer. There's a lot of resources online for it already.
yeah. Okay, so I did pull your cards while we were
Mm.
talking, and I have them with me right now. So funnily enough, I am pretty sure that the card that you got the last time was this is the same card as this one, but I
Really?
may not be. I will have to check. Okay, I will have to check. I will have to check.
Oh my god.
May not be, but it seems like it's kind of similar. But okay, so let's not jump the gun yet. The first card that I got and I pulled for you with your question is the Eight of Swords, and the Eight of Swords upright represents someone who perhaps is kind of trapped, who feels trapped, and who is, you know, because the imagery of on the card, which also plays into the interpretation of the card, is of a woman who is, you know, tied up and like there's swords around her and everything. So she's kind of in like a tricky place. She is
Mm-mm-mm.
in like kind of not really like kind of like a trap, and in this trap can be signified in different ways. It could be a self trap, like, you know, maybe you're putting yourself in a box and you're feeling like, oh, I don't know how to get out of this box because like maybe I'm mind blocked. I don't know how to come up with new ideas for content or for things. Or it could be a literal kind of block or trap, kind of, not really a trap, more like a blockage where like you're stuck. I feel like
Mm.
you've been feeling very stuck. You've been feeling like you know like you can't, or maybe subconsciously don't want to move from the spot that you're in right now. And because of that, maybe some things have been stalling, or some things have been, maybe you don't really find certain things as inspiring as you used to. So maybe in the past you like, oh, I really like this type of content, but then you kind of box yourself in, and you're like, well, I don't enjoy that content anymore, or I want to do that again, but I have this fear or something of, what if, I do it and I'm not funny anymore, or what if I do it and it's not entertaining anymore, something like that. That's not to say that that's the case, that's just more of an example, but basically it feels like, you are kind of feeling very trapped at where you are right now, and with like in terms of your career, in terms of VTubing. I think that perhaps this could be, maybe you're feeling maybe some sort of burnout. I think it could be burnout, it could be, perhaps procrastination too, if you've been procrastinating lately. It feels like there's a lot of like stuck energy. It feels like
Yeah.
yeah, do you want to share more about that, maybe,
Yeah,
in your thoughts?
I think that's there's definitely some aspect of play there. I recently only like I would say like in the last 2 weeks finally had some closure on a situation that was giving me some trouble. And it was something that was very much so out of my control and
Yep.
out of my
Yep.
for lack of better words, out of my scope of authority. And it did make me feel very much so like I don't
Yep.
know how to move forward from here, you
Yep.
know?
Yep.
And it genuinely, like, if it was not for, I actually, I think like just like 2 months ago, I cried to like one of my friends out of the company, and I was like, I just don't know what to do, you know?
Yeah.
Like I was just like, I don't know how to move forward from this. I'm not sure how to, um, really like what my next steps are. I feel kind of like almost this learned helplessness, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
And I think recently I started going to therapy. And I think recently I've been doing a lot better.
Yeah.
I'm very unmotivated, I would say. It's
Yeah.
been really
Yeah.
difficult to work on my projects, but I've been doing my best to kind of like push myself a little bit to at least take the first step in
Yeah.
organizing everything and like getting everything together and stuff like that. And I am hopeful. I am hopeful. I think like for me right now, like although I think I have those feelings of like, you know, things aren't too great
Yes.
right now, you know,
Yes.
I am hopeful that things are going to get better, you know?
Yes. Yes. And that's definitely a good mindset to have. I think that, if you are always okay, because the card, the Eight of Swords, basically represents someone who feels powerless, like they don't have any power to change the situation at hand, and they feel like perhaps they are going to remain in this spot, like this really tough spot that you kind of just mentioned, if they don't really have the means to get out of that spot, especially because it concerns like a job, like it's kind of like a career for you. And so you kind of feel like, oh, like I can't, like, not to say I can't leave, but like, how do I change this? How do I make this situation better? At the same time, you kind of feel an extra layer of helplessness because, how do you perhaps go about this, really? How do you
Yeah, I think for me, one of the things because I'm a very direct person, you know,
Yes.
I'm a very upfront, direct person, and like I say what I mean. I think I would like to think that I'm a very honest person. Like
Yes.
I will always, you know, be truthful with you about my feelings
Mm-hmm.
and about like, you know, the things that I believe in and the things that I, you know, like want clarification on and stuff like that.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I think like I've come to realize that although, you know, like my therapist
Mm-hmm.
and I talked about this, but although
Mm-hmm.
like, you know, I think there is a degree of which like, you know, it's a bad personality compatibility, you
Yeah.
know, in some circumstances where,
Yeah.
you know, that directness comes off as abrasive or, you know,
Mm-hmm.
comes off as confrontational and stuff like
Mm-hmm.
that. But I've also started doing a bit more self think on like, I think I do need to find a way to not change myself, but
Yeah.
it's a bit weird, right? It's like
Change my
I don't want to
approach,
be
maybe.
yeah, it's like
Yeah.
it's not it almost feels like being fake a little bit. I talked to my therapist about this about how
Yeah.
like I don't know if I can do this because in my heart it doesn't feel right. You know, it doesn't
Mm-hmm.
feel like this is me who's
Mm-hmm.
acting in these situations.
Yeah.
But we were talking about the whole idea of like, you know, being open to like redefining who you are, being
Yeah.
open to like uh you know, changing the
Mm-hmm.
way that you approach things
Mm-hmm.
and recognizing that that's not the way that you would like to approach stuff. You know, it's like recognizing
Yes.
that it's not
Yes.
the ideal situation,
But
you
you kind of
know?
have to sometimes.
Exactly,
Yeah. Yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, and I think like that's where a lot of that feeling comes from, where it's like
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of racking with this like I'm at a battle of like I want to be true to myself. I want to be, you know, the person that I think I am,
Yep.
but at the same time, the person that I think I am, I think
Mm.
will cause potentially cause hurt in the future, could potentially cause
Tension,
things
maybe.
to tensions, you know.
Yeah.
And due to that, I have to, I guess, like recognize that, you know, like there is still a part of this that like I have to almost play the game for, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah. I get you. Yeah. So I understand 100%. And because one of the advice that this card has is for you to perhaps a lot of the times being stuck at a crossroads or being stuck where you are, it feels like you're very powerless, right? It feels like, you know, the power has been taken away from you. It feels like, you know, maybe there's not much hope for you to change the situation or even like prevent upcoming situations, similar situations from happening, correct? But this card is basically telling you that, you know, because the card represents a woman who is blindfolded, sometimes you really need to take a step back and you really need to perhaps take off the blindfold and look at, you know, things a different way, to look at it with a different perspective of like, how do I go about solving this? How do I leave this place that I'm in, leave the block gauge question mark behind? You know, how do I perhaps put this behind me? Because a lot of the times, I think what people don't really tell you is that you're not gonna be liked by everyone, correct? But I think it's a lot harder when it's in a industry like VTubing because your personality is basically the product for people. Um, so I think that you have to find a different way to kind of go about it, because I know that you said you're very honest, you're a very honest person, correct? But I don't think it's necessarily not being honest if you go about it in a different way. Like if you go about it like if you think about it like being nice, not really being nice, but like keeping up appearances, maybe. I don't know if I'm making sense, but I hope
yeah,
I
this is
am.
actually this is something that me and my therapist has been kind of like debating on because I think for
Yeah.
me it's like it's almost very hard for me to separate the gray line. It's like I
Yeah.
have a very 0 to 100 like mentality. It's like if
Yeah.
I'm this,
Black or white.
if I'm this, I'm not that. If I'm this,
Yeah.
I'm not that. If I'm that, I'm not this. You know.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like in my head, I talked about this actually 2 weeks ago, but
Oh,
in my
okay.
head, it feels very like it almost feels like I am putting on a mask of sorts.
Yes.
Like you know, and sometimes I think that feeling of having to I think we talked a little bit about this in relation to like my family trauma, but that feeling of having to mask and having to appease the people makes me almost feel like I'm being treated unjustly. You know?
Yes,
It's like,
yes, I get that. Yeah.
I have to accommodate. I have to do this. I
I
can't
have
be
to
myself,
perform.
you
I have to
know?
perform
I
for you
have
to
to
like
perform.
me.
Exactly. And I think like so much of my life had been spent doing that when I got into VTubing, I was like, I don't want to do this anymore, you know?
Yes.
I
yes.
want to be who I truly am. I want to be
Yes.
unabashedly myself, you know?
Mhm.
And I think it's coming to terms with the fact that that's not in a perfect world, that would be great, you know?
Yeah.
But we don't live in a perfect world. And unfortunately, there are circumstances that lend to me not being able to be fully myself, you know?
Yeah.
And me and my therapist were talking about kind of the idea of adjusting expectations, both on myself, but also from other people, and not punishing myself for these things. Because I think
Yes.
like one thing I do that I realize not many people seem to do
Mhm.
is that I punish myself for even getting involved in a situation. It's like
Oh,
in my
yeah.
head, I was like, it's like I should have been more aware. I should have recognized the red flags. I should have
Mhm,
been more aware. This
mhm.
is my fault. Even if
Yeah,
it's like logically, I know it's not my fault
not
at
your
all.
fault. Mhm,
But in that perspective, I end up punishing myself a lot, and I unfortunately end up kind of like talking myself in a circle. You know what I
mhm.
mean?
Yeah, yeah, I
And
do.
it's very difficult for me to progress from that point onwards, which is why I ended up seeing a therapist.
Mm. And I think that, a lot of the times it's very easy for you to get trapped in that line of thinking where you're like, oh, it's my fault, and then you start like picking out different ways of like how could I have acted differently, how could I have done something differently, how could I
Mm-hmm.
have like like if I said
The what
this.
ifs.
Yeah, the what ifs are really the killer, isn't it? Because
The what
you're like,
ifs, man.
what
Yeah.
if I didn't say this, or what if I just hadn't been there on that day, what if
Yeah,
I
what if
hadn't
I
said
just
it.
wasn't there? What if I just had muted my mic and didn't say
Yeah,
anything? What if I
yeah.
just, went out with my friends that day?
Yeah.
Like,
Like, what if I just got off the internet that one specific day where everything changed, right? But I think that with a lot of these things, you kind of have to remember that it's out of your control now, and not in the bad way. Like, I think that with the loss of control, sometimes we get like freaked out because we're like, well,
no,
no,
I know
like,
that for sure.
yeah, well, no, like if I had like, and then you go back again, like it's as a way of like taking back your control. You go back and you circle back on that thinking again, where you're like, well, if I
Mm-hmm.
next time if something like this happens again, then I know what to do, right? Like I know I shouldn't be saying this, or I shouldn't be doing that, or just maybe I should have been luckier, right? But a lot of these things happen. I it's corny, but I feel like a lot of things happen for a reason. So I feel like even if, let's say, you like somehow built a time machine and went back in time and you changed that one moment where everything changed, I think that ultimately you would still stand to lose something. And a lot of the times we are very fixated on what could we have done differently instead of how do we move forward, I think. um
Mm-mm.
we're very like concerned with like, oh, like if I did this differently, then that would be different, and then things would be so much better now. But you don't know that for sure. Something else could have happened that could have led you to the same result. Like one way or another, something else could have happened for you to like end up in the same spot. And then will you then spend another like, however long thinking about it, like the other alternate route where like, oh, like again, if I had done this, then this wouldn't have happened. So I think this card is trying to remind you that sometimes things are out of your hands, but that doesn't mean that you're helpless, doesn't mean that you're powerless. It means that you have to look at it from a different point of view, where you have to go and look for a different approach, like your therapist said, and also not fix, but try to maybe alter the way that you think regarding certain things. Like masking is really like not difficult but really draining, correct? But
Mm-hmm.
like if you have to put it on for like 5 minutes in as opposed to like 5 hours, and if you could like get it over and done with, like for those 5 minutes you put it on and you were like, yeah, thank you so much, blah 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 blah, or whatever. Like that's not to say you're being fake. I think that's just you fulfilling your job, your obligations. But like think of it that way, um where like if I'm in a traditional job setting, and let's say, I don't know, let's say I don't get along with my coworkers, and then I have to be nice. I can't just come in and just sit down and not say anything to anybody. I have to be nice. And so, although it does grate on you, I think that, ultimately in the long run, you should look at everything in a perspective of like, um, I like it's my job basically, or
Yeah,
maybe you
I
can look
think
at it. Yeah.
the biggest struggle for me isn't even because like I don't really get angry at people. Like even like in this situation, I don't think I'm
Mm-hmm.
really angry at anyone. Like I
Mm-hmm.
can understand the perspectives of everyone who was involved, right?
Mm.
Like, but for me, it's just more so of like I'm very like let's hash it out.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it. Let's talk it out. And not everyone wants to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And when I don't get that kind of like expectation of like, okay, we can talk about this,
Yeah.
it it makes me feel trapped. It's like
Yeah.
now I don't know where we stand. Now I don't know how to treat you. Now I don't
Mm-hmm.
know what your boundaries are. And it's like
Yeah.
it makes me feel very I guess like nervous about
Uncomfortable.
interacting. Yeah. It's
Mm.
like I become like sort of like almost paralyzed where it's like I don't have any confirmation on you know, what your feelings are for me, you know,
Yeah.
what sort of boundaries that you would like to establish moving forward. And it's like,
Yeah.
this is something I would love to talk about, but
Mm.
it's not something I can force people to do. You know, it's
Yeah.
like, I can't force people to talk to me. Like,
Yeah.
as much as I can, you know, try to reach out, put the ball in their court, you know,
Mhm.
like, end of the day, if like the conversation isn't wanted to be had, then I
That's
can't,
you can't like force.
yeah, like I can't force their hand, you know, like,
Yeah.
because then it becomes vindictive, you know,
Yeah.
like,
Mm-mm. Yeah, I think there's a saying where like you can lead a horse to water, but you can't force a horse to drink.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. So yeah, 100% I understand. Yeah, like it just sucks, doesn't it? Like I think that sometimes you just have to approach it with like a shit sucks. It is what it is. How do I, like how
oh,
do I
it
move
is what
on?
it
It is what it is.
is.
Yeah. It is what it is. But yeah, so I did pull two other cards. So the second card that I pulled for you, with regards to your VTubing career, is the Five of Cups. And the Five of Cups usually represents loss. Okay, it represents perhaps disappointment and these kinds of feelings where
Oh, this is the same one I got.
yeah. Oh no. It's
This
okay.
is the
No.
exact same one I got.
Yeah. No, it's okay. It's okay. So yeah, the Five of Cups represents like disappointment and perhaps the feeling that like, something didn't go the way that you expected it to. It could be the situation, it could be something else. Maybe you have certain expectations or goals for yourself that you weren't able to hit. And so maybe because of that you were like, oh man, this sucks. Oh man, or you could feel like, ah, I can't, how do I say this? Like you get that disappointment, you get that like kind of sense of loss when things don't go the way that you thought they would, where perhaps you had like a lot of hopes for how something would turn out, and then you're kind of faced with the reality that it's not the case, correct?
Mhm.
Because the Five of Cups also represents perhaps certain issues with letting go of things in the past. Um, and
I'm trying my best, man. I'm trying my best. I promise you. It's
hey,
every
I'm
conversation, every single week.
I'm trying to put this as nicely as I can, okay? The cards came out together. I didn't pull them out. I did not pull them out. They came out together. So I think that one of the things that this card signifies as well is perhaps taking a break. I think taking a break to kind of reevaluate the way that you approach your job or even just your job itself. And this doesn't mean that you have to like stop streaming, correct? Taking a break can mean anything.
All right,
It
guys,
can
I'm
mean
going on hiatus.
no. Oh my god, your young pups are gonna show up in my doorstep with like torches and pitchforks. They're gonna show up and they're gonna be like, you did this. No, it basically represents like when you take a step back. It could also be in your in terms of your mindset and in terms of your like mental like well-being, correct? Because you might be, this card represents basically somebody who is going through a lot, somebody who currently, whether this is currently or recently, has been going through a lot. And so there's been a lot of like tension or perhaps arguments that you've been going through, and this could be not just with your career but with your personal life as well. It could be perhaps you are arguing with yourself too, where you're like you're kind of like going back and forth about a certain thing, right? And you don't really know how to move on from this thing, as we just discussed, correct? Sometimes you kind of, and also not only that, like there's this sense of despair of like, oh, like if things don't get better, then I've lost everything. Or if things don't if things don't change, or if I don't do something, then I'm gonna lose this and that, I'm gonna lose that and this. But I think that sometimes you might tend to overlook the positives in a bad situation too. I'm not sure if that's true, but sometimes yeah, like you could be, you're just so fixated. You're just so fixated on like the things that you've lost or on the things that you're going through right now that you don't see the good in what happened, or you don't see the good in the situation. And it basically is trying to tell you that, there is some hope. There is still some hope. There is still some, um, there is still some good in the bad. It's not just all like bad, 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 bad. You can still salvage it. You can still move on from this. I think that you just need to kind of reframe what happened and the situation that happened in your mind. Not only, through therapy, but like maybe through, I don't know, talking about it with other people who maybe have more context, or this could be like, you just doing some exercises, like, journaling or something, right? Like, oh, like why do I feel this way? And then like, what's the worst case situation that could happen if this happens, like if my worst fear happens, right? So I think that, you can learn from this situation, and I think that you should pick up like useful things from the situation. Like, instead of focusing on the bad, try to focus on the good, and try to focus on the like positive aspects of it. Like, what can you learn from the situation, rather than what have I lost from the situation? What can I learn, instead of what have I lost? This card also tells you to, perhaps if you have old coworkers outside of your office, try to connect with them again, maybe. Or if you have maybe try to connect more with your coworkers, in the sense of like spend more time together, or hang out more, or something like that. Because maybe, obviously we're all really busy, right, with our lives and with like our own projects and stuff like that, but sometimes you just need to have that I don't know how to say that word, camaraderie.
Camaraderie?
Yes, that word. Sometimes you just need to have that in order to kind of remind you why you're still working, why you're still in this career. This could be like previous coworkers, or this could be, previous friends from VTubing or anything like that. Try to reconnect with them, and try to, remember, like, why did I start VTubing in the first place? Because right now it seems like you're going through a tough patch, and it may be easy for you to forget, like, oh, why am I even here? Like, why am I even like VTubing? It's very easy to think that way. Like, oh my god, like VTubing sucks. VTubing brought me this pain and that pain, and I'm going through it. I'm going through it 24/7 because of VTubing. Try to remember why you love this so much, by reconnecting with, previous friends, or old friends, or longtime friends, basically. How do you feel about that?
I've actually been, there's this thing that I was kind of like, I don't want to say forced, but like my therapist highly encouraged me to do, was just to like go through some old messages, and like if there were any like conversations that I didn't end up following up on, just to like follow up and be like, hey, like how you doing, sort of deal.
Yeah.
And I think like in doing so, I realized I actually carry a lot of shame in not being successful.
Yeah.
And for me, it's more like it's not like it's hard to describe. It's not like a competitive sense of like, I need to be more successful than you. It's like I have spent so much of my life being like the poster child for my family,
Yeah.
And it's like, when I don't get to be that poster child, I almost feel like I'm not me, and I'm not the person that I present to people. And it made me really realize that I'm really actually not that vulnerable with my friends. I tend to almost mask my situation and make it almost better than it
Than it
actually
seems.
is, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Because like I feel shame in like talking about it in a more emotional sense. I think that's why I kind of cover a lot of it with logic, being like, oh, this person said this because of that thing, and this person did this because of that thing, like, and it's like, it all makes sense, like, but it's like, it doesn't negate the hurt that might have come from XYZ activity or like action.
Yeah.
And I think for me, one of the biggest issues with me reaching out with old friends is that I fall into that pit of just like self-talking myself into being like, they wouldn't want to see me sad,
Yeah.
And thus I will never reach out to them when I'm sad, like
Yeah. I get that. Yeah. I think that it's very easy for you to fall into this trap where you're like, oh, like I have to be good, I have to be the best. Like not really the best, but like, like you mentioned the poster child syndrome thing.
No, I think I do have that
Okay.
mentality. I
Okay,
have to be
okay.
the best.
Oh my god. Are you an eldest daughter, by the way?
I'm an only child.
Oh, okay, that kind of makes sense because you
I'm an
kind of.
only child immigrant, 0th generation, baby. Had to do
Oh,
my parents' taxes and translate for
oh,
them.
oh my god, that makes sense. Then that kind
Yeah.
of makes sense as to why you carry that with you because you're like, well, I have to be independent and I have to show that like they can't worry about me. This could be like your parents or your friends. Like I have to be good, I have to be independent, I have to be this, I have to be the best version of myself. I think it's very easy to forget that your friends love you for you. They don't care if like you're sad. Like not to say they don't care if you're sad. Obviously they care, okay? But they don't care if you're going through it. Like they want to be there for you. They want to be, to support you. And I'm sure that, any of them would probably agree with me. I hope so. That, even if you go to them and you're like, hey, like I really, really like I cannot be logical about this. I just need to crash out. Right? I think I think they would understand.
Oh,
I
not
think
the
they would
crash
understand.
out.
I think they would understand. Sometimes you just really need to crash out. Sometimes you just need to be like, you just need to sit down and you just need to go, this fucking, whatever. You need to just, be like, I just need to let loose. I just need to vent. I need to, tell you like, or I need not even to vent. Like you don't have to like go all like crash out and all like be like, fuck this person or whatever. But I think that you by being more vulnerable with the people that you love, they are able to then, like help you too and to support you because I'm sure you would do that the same for them. If one of your friends came to you and said, hey, Yena, like I'm going through this and like maybe described your exact situation and then they say like, oh, I don't know how to like handle it, I'm sure that you would want to be there for them too, rather than covering it up to be like better than you think it is or trying to give logic or like or like empathy or like being like trying to excuse their actions basically like oh maybe they did this because they were having a bad day or maybe I don't know maybe they like I did something maybe I truly did something and I understand that more than anything this feeling of I have to appear like I'm doing good to other people because then maybe I'll believe it too or I have to appear good to other people so that like they don't worry about me. But the thing with I think love is that they're gonna worry about you regardless, even if they see that like even if all you tell them is like, oh, I'm doing good, I'm doing good, I'm doing good. I think that the people that love you can tell when you're not doing good and like they can tell when something's bothering you. So I think that it would be good to connect with them to kind of get rid of that shame. Like not right now, you don't have to immediately be like, hey guys, I'm gonna
Alright,
tell
guys,
you
we're gonna
everything.
crash out live on
I'm
stream.
gonna
It
crash
all started when I
out.
was 4 years old. I immigrated to America.
No! Oh my god. No. And it's like, it's very easy for people to be like, oh, just tell them how you feel. No, it's not that easy. And I understand that.
Yeah.
But take it
Yeah, one thing.
bit by
Oh,
bit.
sorry.
No. You say?
One thing I think that I've been really working on just in these past couple of months has been being not as afraid to just
Mm.
say what's on my mind, like in the sense of like show my personality, because I think
Yeah.
like especially in a lot of like business spaces, I kind of take on the type A personality of like, all right guys, we gotta get this done, let's
Yeah.
I'm gonna commandeer this meeting and we're gonna get XYZ
Let's get
thing
shit
done for our
done.
for this event, and then I'm gonna direct the something for that thing, whatever, right? It's like
Mhm.
and it's like I almost the best way to put this is I almost feel like I'm compelled to be the straight man a lot of the time.
Yeah.
And I don't feel like I'm the straight man. I feel like I'm actually very silly. I'm a silly guy,
Yeah.
But like I in like my head, I almost classify myself, I pigeonhole myself as a straight man. And
Mhm.
it's like I've done that for almost all of my life, to the point that like I sometimes don't even know how to act silly anymore,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I'm exercising being silly, you know? Like,
Mhm.
a lot of the times, like, when I stream and stuff, we end up just
Yep.
having, like, very deep conversations, and I'm like, "No, we're gonna have silly conversations today," you know? What,
Yeah.
like, is pudding considered a sauce, guys?
No.
Answers in chat.
Yeah. Mm.
But, like, it's stuff like that where it's like, I mean, even now, it's like there's this compelling feeling of like, I need to seem put together and I need to
Yep.
seem like emotionally well regulated. And also,
Yep.
like, that I reflected a lot of myself and like I did all these XYZ things to like,
Mhm.
better me as a person. But it's like, end of
Mhm.
the day, it's like, I'm not perfect. I know that.
Yeah.
And I'm happy to accept criticism on myself.
Yeah.
But it's getting over that hump of like needing to present in that way, even like
Mhm.
not even in an emotional sense, but even just like in a personality sense. It's like,
Yeah.
I hide so much of myself, and I think VTubing really brought me out of that shell,
Mhm.
which is why I really enjoy it. You know, like,
Yeah.
but yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's really nice, like to hear. Thank you for sharing with us. Yeah. I think. Okay, so sorry. Moving on to the third card.
We're not answering the pudding question, guys. You're gonna be here for 3 hours if you answer this.
Do you think pudding is a sauce?
I think pudding is a sauce.
No, it's not. It's solid.
You can
What do you
dip
mean?
stuff in it.
But that doesn't mean that it's a sauce.
What do you mean, man? You put enough
Like,
water into pudding.
so
and it's a
then
soup.
is soup a sauce?
Yeah, if you
No, it's
congeal
not.
soup enough, it becomes a sauce.
No, in its most pure form. In its most pure
Does a
form.
straw have 1 hole or 2 holes?
One.
Okay, I agree with you on that.
Okay, see? It's just one cylinder. It's a cylinder. It's a cylinder. Yeah, sorry. I was gonna respond to what you said, but then my brain just fizzled out because you mentioned the pudding sauce thing.
It was so funny. So I have a friend who, where we do these kind of debates, like I always will choose the opposite choice just to fuck with her.
Uh-huh.
And I have a very good argument for 2 holes. I believe in one, but I have a very good argument for 2 holes.
Yeah? What's the argument with 2 holes?
I mean, our mouth and our butt is basically the same.
Okay.
It's just one big long straw, you know?
That's a sentence that I have never heard in my life.
You wouldn't call your mouth and your butt the same hole, you know?
Technically, it could be. Well,
no, but you wouldn't consider it the same hole. Like, you wouldn't eat food through your butt. I mean, I hope you wouldn't. I mean, like,
no,
I can't
I
control your
wouldn't.
life, but
no, I would. Do you know? Oh, wait. Speaking of,
I
do
mean,
you know you can get drunk?
You're a
through your
one-strawer, so I mean, like, you're a one-hole strawer, so I don't know,
Good
man.
lord. Do you know that you can get drunk through your butthole?
You can, yeah.
Yeah, like if you.
But
if
you
like,
wouldn't consider your butthole and your mouth the same hole, you know? And
well,
thus
yeah.
It's
but
not
that's,
one hole, it's
But
2
that's my
holes.
mouth and my butthole. We're talking about the straw.
Yeah, and the human body is just one big straw.
That's a sentence that I have never heard uttered before in my goddamn life. On this earth, in my entire existence, I have never heard anyone say, well, you're just one big straw.
I mean, I'm just saying, man, it all connects. It's gotta go in one way and gotta come out the other way, so...
Oh my god. Oh my god. That's crazy. But no, I stand firm. Pudding is not a sauce. Pudding is not a sauce. Pudding is not a sauce. A sauce is a condiment.
Flan is not a sauce. But American pudding, the one that's like in those like Jello containers, that's a sauce.
No, but it's the same thing, is it not?
No, it's not.
Jello.
No,
You're talking about
like
Jello.
solid.
So is Jello a sauce?
No. Jello is the company.
Okay.
Jello is the company
pudding.
that has both pudding and Jello. But their pudding is a sauce. Like, it's...
What are we talking about?
Read my next card.
What are we talking about?
Abort topic.
Oh my god. Anyways. The next card that I got for you is the Ten of Pentacles. Yes, sorry.
Oh, let's go!
Oh! I pulled it and I looked at it and I was like, oh my fucking god. You know what? I'm manifesting a break for you. I'm gonna send you a video later. It's just this guy with like waving his fingers in front of the camera. You know the ones where they're like pulling out your energy or something? And he's just doing that. And he's like manifesting a fucking break for you. You don't know what I'm talking about?
No, I have no idea. I know the virtual sin forgiveness.
It's kind of like that basically, but in like reverse. Like manifesting a break for you. I'm doing that for you. Okay.
I
Anyways,
hope so, man.
the both of us could use a break, to be honest.
Uh-huh.
Because I feel like we had that like one time that we bonded over like just bonded, and we were like,
Just saw
wow.
how everything's going on, yes.
Yeah. Oh my god. So the last card that I got for you is the Ten of Pentacles reversed, which represents kind of.
I'm gonna be poor. I know this one because I cared about this one.
You know this
Guys,
one.
please, you have the power to make this not true.
Guys, please donate to Yena right now. Super chat her right now.
Is
Super
it because
chat
I
her
lost
right now.
monetization? Is that what it means?
It might be.
Oh my God.
God. Wait, you lost monetization?
Yeah.
Was this recent?
I haven't had monetization for 2 months, dude.
Oh my god. That's fucked.
Yeah, you actually can't membership to me on YouTube right now because I don't have
No fucking
them.
way. So is it twitch.tv/YenaYoungblood?
No, I still stream mostly on YouTube, but I transferred everything to Patreon.
Oh, okay, that's good though. Okay, so it's patreon.com/YenaYoungblood?
Yeah.
Okay, plugging it right now.
C in there somewhere. But
Yena
yeah.
Youngblood C, maybe. We will check and get back to you. The stage hands will check and get back to you. But
I think it's patreon.com/C/Yena
C.
Youngblood.
Yes,
C
okay.
stands for creator.
Yes, okay. You guys heard
Nothing
her.
else.
You guys heard her. Go to YenaYoungblood.patreon/C. Okay. So yeah, unfortunately I got the reverse Ten of Pentacles, which does represent financial instability
I'm gonna be poor.
and like kind of like an unstable career, but it isn't to say that it's not all is lost. Basically, I think that now you should start saving. If you I feel like you're a saver, okay?
I am a saver.
Yes, I
have
feel
so,
like you're
I
a
have so
saver.
much money saved because I'm just so paranoid.
Really? Oh my god, I have like $10 in my savings account right now.
Girl! Yeah,
times are tough, okay? The recession is in
I'm
full
the bitch
swing.
who has a Roth IRA and a high yield
What?
savings account and a 401k.
What? Wait, that's crazy. That's crazy. I barely have. I have like, okay, at the maximum right now, I think I have $200.
Wait,
$200.
Hold up a second. Stocks just went down. The stock market just went down. Remember, guys, it's on the down right now. So if you're thinking of buying stuff for Roth IRA stuff, this is the time
Yeah.
to do it.
Yeah. Listen to Yena. I don't know anything about stocks.
I'm negative 3% right now. My Roth IRA, it sucks, bro. But I'm gonna buy some. I'm
You
gonna
gonna buy
buy
more?
some, and it's gonna go back up. You know.
Eventually it'll go back up,
Yes,
right?
eventually.
Yeah, I don't know anything about stocks, so I would defer to you. But yeah.
Basically, there's a dip right now. It's dipping, so it's a good time to buy if you have like a Roth IRA that you're investing in, like, so there's these things called S&P 500. Sorry, now this is just a financial literacy stream.
Yes, queen, teach us.
There's these things called S&P 500. That's kind of like the overall, like, how the stock market is doing. You can buy shares in it that kind of distribute your shares to the top 500 stock markets in like the actual like market itself. And it's basically TLDR. It's very stable because the economy always goes up in like the trend of like however long the economy has existed. So it's the idea that you buy it and you let it go up as you reach the age of retirement, and then you cash out at the age of retirement.
Oh, I see.
But
Okay, that's interesting.
Right now they're down because the economy is down, so it's a good time to buy in case you want to get something for, you want to get it for cheaper. You're banking on to go back up later on in like 10-20 years.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. Gotcha. Everybody, you heard that? Take out your notepads and pens and write it down. Go buy the Roth IRA.
Remember, guys, time in the market is still better than time out of the market.
Yes, whatever that means. I'm the least financially literate person you know, so
it means you should start saving as soon as possible. Like start saving as soon as possible.
Yes, start saving.
Like don't think about calculating when to invest or like what to invest in at the right time. It's like it's better to have time in the market than time out of the market.
You know, if you haven't done a financial literacy stream, you should probably do that.
Well, I was gonna do it for my remonetization stream.
Really? No way. But yeah, so unfortunately, the card kind of does represent like financial instability, and not just that, but like perhaps a career instability. Um, but I'm hoping for the best. Basically, I think
Guys,
I'm gonna pull another card actually because I don't
is
believe.
if everyone else in Idol gets remonetized except for me, I'm gonna come to Adora and be like, "You read the future. You read the future."
No, it's not my fault. It's not my fault. It's not my fault.
Knock on wood. Knock on wood.
No, it's not my fault. Okay, it's fine. I pulled another card. I pulled a fourth card, and this one, shit you not, is the Nine of Pentacles upright. So you're
What does
good.
that
You're good.
mean?
It means rewarded efforts, success, achievement, and self-sufficiency. So
Okay,
I
wait,
feel
hold on.
Mhm.
So this is for 2025, right? We already
Yes.
are 4 months into 2025, so technically it could
Yes.
be for things that have already happened, right? I did go through a point of financial
Yes, yes,
instability
yes,
recently,
yes,
actually.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. Yeah, exactly. Let's think of it that way. And then this fourth card is for the future. Like, from now on, what's gonna happen? So I feel like, okay, so the Nine of Pentacles is a very prosperous card where there's a lot of abundance, and it
I'm not
represents.
gonna lie. I thought you said
Mhm.
9 of Tentacles, and I was like, whoa.
Whoa!
Unless you have 9?
Whoa!
8.
I have 10 actually, but so it represents someone who has like worked really hard, right? Who has like really just slogged through a lot of hard work, put in a lot of hard work and effort, and it seems like somebody like it's basically represents somebody who has gone through a lot. And like I'm shit you not, this was the card that fell out while I was shuffling and talking to you after reading the Ten of Pentacles. So it represents there's like material security and kind of like not really luxury but more like the luxury of knowing that you're stable. The
This is me playing Minecraft for 24 hours.
Whoa.
I put in the work.
I put in the work. I work hard, and now I'm reaping the fruits of my labor. But yes, so it represents somebody who has like struggled, who has gone through a lot of difficulties through their path. But it does represent someone who will be rewarded for their efforts, who will have and achieve the success that they're looking for. I think as long as you kind of take not the warnings but the advice that the cards previously have given you of like, hey, like slow down a little bit, slow down, take a step back and try to reevaluate, try to connect with old friends, try to remember why you love VTubing so much in the first place. Because like and the the difficulties could very well last for a little bit longer, but personally I see it improving at least from, okay, let me think, from June or July onwards. I think that things will start improving. Yes. So I feel like if you're currently not like, obviously now you're like going through it, you're struggling, but I think that you just have to hold on a little bit more.
Okay, not to say that you're a mind reader, but
Uh-huh.
also June and July is actually. Oh, I don't think I can even say this because this is like internal management stuff. But like
No, you don't have to.
TLDR,
Yes.
things will be more solidified policy-wise in June or July. That has been made promises. That was a promise.
No
made to me
fucking
by management.
way.
Yeah. Like that was the
Yeah.
deadline that they said they would give
Oh my
to
God.
me
Uh-huh.
for things that I have brought up to management to be resolved.
Yeah, that's crazy. Okay, so not to say you said not to say that I'm a mind reader. I am a little bit psychic though. So like
Oh.
like no shit. Like I'm not pulling your
What does
leg.
that mean? What is that?
So
what is
mhm.
like? Does that mean that you can like you can kind of like sense what's gonna happen in the future, or is it like sort of more so of like
mhm.
you get like like almost like dreams or something like that?
I get
like-
feelings. So for
Mm.
me, a lot of the times it does mean that
Oh
sometimes
my
I
God,
do
you're
know
an
what things.
empath.
Oh my God, no! I'm
As
not
an
an empath. I am not an empath. I am
As an
not going to be an
empath.
empath. I am not an empath. You can miss me with that. I am not an empath. I do not know what you're feeling. But for me, going a little bit into like spirituality and stuff like that, I don't know if you believe in that, but for me, I've always kind of had a very strong intuition, and this means like both like psychically and like just like in general, my intuition doesn't lead me astray. So sometimes, for example, when I'm doing readings for people, I can kind of sense what's wrong with them physically. So I've done a reading in the past, live in fact, where I said like, by the way, are you like having any shoulder problems? Like, is your shoulder hurting right now? And the person goes, how did you know that?
Do you
Because
sense anything on me?
well, now that you mention your knee, I have been feeling that, like the knee part, but okay, let me think. Let me see. Is it your
Don't force it. I mean, like,
yeah,
I'm
no.
just curious.
Because sometimes, you know, I always get the fear that I'm wrong, which I could be. Doesn't mean that I'm always accurate. Doesn't mean I'm 100% accurate. Nobody's 100% accurate. But is there
Mhm.
anything wrong with your shoulder blades specifically?
Oh, you know what? Actually, I did go kickboxing recently. So
Really?
yeah,
Uh-huh.
so kickboxing uses your deltoids a lot. So my shoulder blades are actually really
Ooh.
sore right now.
Oh my god. Wait, that's crazy.
Yeah, I went
Yeah.
kickboxing 2 days ago.
So either okay, so your shoulder blades, feeling a bit of your upper arms, maybe, but that could be with the kickboxing.
I do
Upper
love to kickbox.
arms.
Honestly, I'm gonna be so for real right now.
Mhm.
You could have said any body part right now. I'd be like, yep, that checks out because I'm sore all over.
That makes sense. But yeah, I specifically picked up shoulder blades. And I think for me, sometimes it just comes to me like as like not to be like that's so Raven, but like it just comes to me not in a vision, but like in a
Vision.
I got a
That's So
vision.
Raven reference is crazy. How many That's So Raven references have you made on these shows and like people have gotten it?
None. This is the first one.
Ah!
But
It's
you
alright, I
know,
get
oh
you.
my
I
god,
get
you
you.
get me, girl. But yeah, so with terms of like psychic stuff, I get feelings, but also sometimes it just like you just know. Like for me, I just know in my gut that something is happening. For example, usually okay, this is like a little bit strange. And sorry I'm talking about myself now, but for example,
No.
I usually
talking.
I usually pick up on when couples are forming first, even if they've never interacted before. Even if they never interacted before. For example, I can't remember when, but basically I was thinking about two of my friends separately, and I was like, huh, they seem like they'll be pretty good together. Like their energies really do fit. And like a week later they meet. Like but by the way, they had mutual friends, but they had never met in person before. So then a week
Oh,
later they met, and then they started dating, I think a month later. Or
that's so
in the
crazy.
reverse, I can also usually feel when a couple has broken up before anybody else. So I think I was like, I remember I texted a friend and I was like, hey, like is friend A and friend B like are they still together? And they go, yeah, why? I think so. And then like a week later they announced their breakup. So something like that.
I
But it's
see.
not just to do with relationships, like romantic relationships. I can also kind of like I think 8 times out of 10, or I can always tell when someone's lying to me, basically. Like
Oh, yes.
yeah, I can always tell when somebody's lying to me.
Mhm.
And with certain things like when I told you June or July, those are like the feelings that I get to. Like sometimes when I'm thinking about it and I have to focus on it, but then like an answer will come up. Like I'll be like, oh, like okay, let's see, when will
That's
the
so
things get better?
interesting.
Yeah, like when will things get better for Yena? And the first thing that came out was June or July. So I said June or July, and it was true. Like I
See,
mean, at
you know
least
what?
as true as it is.
You know what's crazy? So I have that same power too, but I think I call it paranoia. Um,
Yeah.
I'm just
Yeah.
so paranoid of everything. I'm like, is
Yeah.
this person lying to me? Is this
Is this
person lying
person
to me?
lying?
And then sometimes it gets proven right, and I'm like, oh my god, I was right. That means I must always be right.
Oh, I get you. I get you. It's very easy to be like, they're lying to me, and then like and then if you're like they're lying to me, and then 1 time out of 6 times you're proven right, you kind of tend to believe that it is true, like 6 out of 6 times. You know what I
Yeah, I
mean?
think it was really rough because so I had a friend who, oh god, this was rough, dude. This was
Mhm.
before I joined Idol, but I had a friend who I was friends with her for 7 years,
Ah,
man. It
shit.
sucked. But
Yeah.
she was like, because like I know it doesn't seem like it, but I actually didn't
Mhm.
start socially interacting with people until
Mhm.
very recently.
Mhm.
Like I say very recently as in like college, you know?
Hey, me too,
Um
actually.
yeah, I was
Yeah.
such an awkward kid in high school. Like I've
Yeah.
never like talked to people and like
Mhm.
cosplay really brought me out of my shell, you know?
Mhm.
But I met her through the cosplay community, and she was like my first friend ever. Like I would
Yeah.
say, like the first person that I would ever consider to be like a good friend to me that
Yep.
I continue to keep in contact with
Yep.
outside of like proximal obligation. You know,
Mm-hmm.
it's like I had friends in high school, but I feel like we were also just friends because we lived near each other. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like
And there was no one
circumstance,
else to hang out with
happenstance.
because we didn't have
Yeah.
cars. You know,
Yeah.
like. Once we kind of went our separate ways in college, we found, you know, better niches that fit our personalities better, like
Mhm.
whatever, right? But like
Mhm.
this person was like the first person I would say was ever my true friend, you
Yeah.
know? And I was very vulnerable with her, and I told her a lot about my life and about like,
Mhm.
you know, what had gone on in my life. And back then I wasn't very open about that kind of stuff. I'm a
Yeah.
lot more open now because I'm more secure about things that have happened to me.
Mhm.
Before I was almost a little bit like, oh, I need to keep this on the down low so I can be normal, you know,
Yeah.
like, but about I would say 3-ish years ago, I found out that she had been lying about a lot of her life to me.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
And a lot of those lies were based off of my true stories.
What?
So she used me as almost
Oof.
like a blueprint to like
To lie about things.
yeah, like it wasn't just to me either, it was to like other
Yeah.
friends and
Yeah.
stuff like that. Like the first thing that we ever like felt weird about was that
Mhm.
so I worked with her on some merchandise stuff for her company.
Yeah.
And like obviously since we were doing a deal together, I needed her social security number for the W9, you
Yeah.
know. And I was being hired as a contractor, blah blah blah, et cetera, et cetera.
Mhm.
But also like I needed stuff for my own company because they were commissioning stuff from me, and it's like I was also paying them for something, and I was like,
Yeah.
it's a lot, right?
Yeah.
But basically, she gave me, you know, the forms for everything perfectly fine, and then I find out from a different friend that
Mhm.
she had told them that she was afraid of getting deported because of the law that had been passed in Texas
Okay.
recently.
Mhm.
And it turns out, well, she's not illegal, you know, like, but she was
Uh-huh.
basically telling this friend, like, oh, I'm afraid I'm gonna get deported because I'm illegal, you know, like I'm not supposed
What?
to be here. Yeah.
Oh my
Um,
god. Uh-huh.
yeah, it was crazy. And like the thing is for me, so I had a really weird naturalization because
Mhm.
my dad came here on like a green card, and then
Mhm.
like I came here with my mom, but my mom and my dad were married, but I was born in China, so it was a bit weird because my mom and dad have like marital status, but like the
Yeah.
child technically doesn't until like unless they're
Yeah.
born in
Yeah.
America. It's like it's weird, right?
Yeah.
So I was in a very weird place for a while, so I wasn't allowed to go outside.
Mhm.
When I was younger, like I didn't start school until like 8, I think, or 8 or 7.
Mhm.
Um but like I found out she was telling people that, you know, she was like, yeah, I can't go outdoors, you know, like I don't have money to get food, like, you know, like stuff like that. And like my friend who's, you know, was very, you know,
Mhm.
sweet and very kind, was like, oh hey, don't worry about the money, like I'm happy to buy you stuff, like you don't even need to worry about paying me back, just like
Yeah.
get me when you're like get me once
Yeah.
you're comfortable, you know,
Yeah.
like.
Yeah.
And but then she came to me because she was like, oh, you're working on her with some company stuff. And didn't they say something about her working in the government or something like that? You know?
Yeah.
And so we were all just kind of so confused as to what was going on. And then
Mhm.
it became this whole thing of like we started noticing small things of like, for example, right?
Mm.
Like this is such a small thing, but like me and my friend, right, sitting in call
Mhm.
together, we're talking, blah blah blah. She goes and gets Jello. She comes back and I'm like, oh, like what flavor Jello do you have? You know?
Mhm.
And she's like, oh, I have red Jello. And then me and another friend, like sorry, me so,
Mm.
whoa, sorry. So she
No
said, I have
worries.
red Jello, right?
Mhm.
And then my friend, let's call her friend A, is
Mhm.
like, oh. And then I'm a little bit delayed in my reaction, and I'm like, oh, ew. Like, I don't like red Jello. I hate red Jello, you know?
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
you can hear her voice going from, oh, ew. Like, she had to agree with me, like, in that
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
And it manifested itself in so many things. Like she had like troubles with her dad that were really, really like reflective of my troubles with my
Yeah.
dad.
Yeah.
And like her troubles with her mom was also similar. She
Yeah.
like faked running away from home at one point. Like me and my friend got really worried
Mm.
about her. And like
What?
we even like called the hotel to be like, hey, is she okay? And then the hotel was like, we don't have this like we don't
She's not
what?
here.
You know, she's not here.
What?
This person never stayed here, you know?
Yeah. That is so
And
fucking crazy.
it was a lot. It was so much. I mean, like,
Mm-mm.
this is a little bit more on the more triggering side. So, like, if you guys are
Mhm.
sensitive about this kind of thing, like, you know,
Yes.
please mute for a little bit. But I was in a really bad place around like 3, 4 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
and you know, I attempted. It was a really bad situation. My mom
Mm-hmm.
was going through really bad psychosis, and I was kind
I'm
of
so
working a
sorry.
job that it's a lot better now. But
Mm.
back then it was like she was very paranoid. Like for example, like my then ex had
Mhm.
sent me roses for Valentine's Day, and she
Mhm.
called the police and the bomb squad
Oh
because
my
she thought
god.
it was a bomb in
Mm.
disguise.
Yeah.
And like every single time like a car drove past, she would be like, "Oh, like they're coming to assassinate us," and stuff like that.
Mm.
And like at one point, she thought I was a federal agent, and so like I was like, she was like lashing out at me. She was kind of attacking me a little bit and stuff like
Mhm.
that. And it really put a rift in our relationship. And it
Mhm.
kind of at that point in my life, I was very much so like I feel like I don't work. I can't go pursue my PhD. You know,
Mhm.
I don't make that much money in neuroscience right now, and you know, I have to now be the caretaker of my mom because no one else
Yeah.
cares. You know, my
Yeah.
dad didn't care. He was just
Mhm.
off in China doing business stuff. You know, like
Yeah.
none of my other relatives cared. So it's like then it falls on me, the only child. You know, the
Yeah.
only person in America with her.
Yeah.
And like it was so much pressure that I was just like, I can't do this anymore. You know, immediately
Mhm.
regretted it. I was being like, okay, we're going to the hospital. You know, like
Yeah.
but I told only friend A this. Like she was the only person I ever told about this
Yeah.
because at that time I was in such a vulnerable place and I was still feeling a lot of shame about like me and the things that happened to me and like
Yeah.
I wanted to be normal, you know, I wanted to be
Mhm.
normal as much as possible.
Mhm.
And so I had only told her because she was the only person at that time I felt comfortable telling. I'm a
Mhm.
lot more open about it now, obviously, because I
Mm.
feel a lot more safer and also secure in my skin. I'd
Mhm.
be like, this has happened to me. It sucked, but this is who
Yeah.
I am, you know?
Yeah.
Um, but I found out, so she actually also attempted like a month later.
Okay.
And I found out during the confrontation that she actually never did it. And
What?
she had done this thing in order to try to empathize with me to make it so that I could open up more to her.
That's crazy. But you were already opening up to her.
Yeah, it's
What?
crazy, right? I think
Yeah.
it's sad. I don't know. I mean, like, I'm not gonna pretend to try to understand where she's coming from, right? But like,
Yeah.
it was like this situation that really made me paranoid of people. Like, it
Yeah.
was like I had these like suspicions and I had these feelings. And I was like, am I an asshole for thinking this? Like,
No, it's
am I
trauma.
like, yeah,
Mm.
but it's like, you know, like, in that situation, it's like
Yeah.
I feel almost guilty, like suspecting my
Yeah.
friend like this, that she would do something like this, you know,
Yeah.
like, and I don't feel like I'm being a good friend to her.
Yeah.
And I had a lot of guilt in my heart of like, oh, like, you know, um, is this something that I was making a big deal out of? Like, am I just being a bad person by not, you
Mm.
know, like, you know, like by not like accepting her kind of advances and her vulnerabilities and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But when it got to the point of the confrontation, we found out that a lot of stuff was faked.
Mm.
It was like almost like a wow, I was right, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Like, oh my god, I should never trust anyone ever again. You know, like
Yeah, no, I get you because that sounds like a tough situation to be in. I'm so sorry, you know?
yeah, I mean, it was crazy, man. It makes for a great story now, but oh my god, the
Going through it
craziest shit, all right?
must have been like
The craziest shit was so
Hmm.
I was in a group chat with her and another
Yeah.
friend. Let's call her friend B, right?
Yeah.
Friend B is queer.
Yes.
Like she's very openly queer.
Mhm.
And friend A had never really been openly queer before this moment.
Yes.
I kind of known that they were like bisexual and stuff like that, but they had never
Mhm.
like been openly queer
Yeah.
about it. Like, you
Yeah.
know, always been like a little bit self-conscious about it.
Yeah.
But one day, friend A brings this picture of this person and is like, hey, I'm dating someone new. Their name is Alex. They're non-binary. I met them on Hinge, right?
Yeah.
Like very like info dump. Like I almost
Yeah.
felt a little bit weird how info dumpy it was. Like
Yeah.
it was like, oh, congratulations that you're dating someone. Like,
Yeah.
for me, it's like usually I find out like after they settled in together, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
like not settled in together, but like settled
In the
a little bit.
relationship. Yeah.
Yeah, in the relationship.
Like it's
you know?
serious. It's serious.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because like, you know, it's like it's not something that at least me personally, I would
Yeah.
announce to people in the world that it's like,
Yeah.
guys, I'm in a relationship now. You need to know about this, you know,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
but like it was kind of like I was like, okay, you know, congratulations. Maybe she's just really happy about the relationship, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I was already a little bit sus at the time, so I
Yeah.
tried kind of like prodding a little bit. And so
Yeah.
I asked her, "Oh, you guys must be so cute together. Like, please take selfies. I would love to see, right?"
Yeah.
So after the date, right, I'm like asking, like, did you guys take any pictures together? Like, I would love to see you guys together. Like, I think it'd be really cute, you know?
Yeah.
And she sends only square cropped photos that are like
Wow.
360p.
Wow.
And it looks like they've been cropped off of like Instagram or something.
Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah.
And like
Yeah.
I'm already a little bit sus at this point. I'm like,
Yep.
okay, it's weird that you guys don't have any photos. And then her excuse was, oh, she's shy with cameras and stuff like that, so we didn't take
Ooh.
any photos.
Yeah.
And then so I decided the next date they were gonna go on, I was gonna play 5D chess.
Yes.
So the next date they went on, she comes into the group chat and she's like, guys, I went on such a great day. I went on this movie day, and then we went on to this bookstore. It was actually really close to your old apartment, Yena, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, oh, really? Oh, wow, you mean the
Ooh.
bookstore on 16th Street, right?
Yeah.
The one that crosses at Soho at North?
Yeah.
And she was like, yeah, that one. There's no bookstore.
No way.
There's no bookstore there.
No way. You caught her ass.
And so I was like, okay, why would she agree to that so readily?
Yeah.
Like, it was a little bit like,
there was no bookstore.
There was no bookstore. And then during the confrontation, we found out that Alex was not, I'm using fake names here, obviously.
Yes.
But Alex was not actually named Alex. Alex was named Sarah. And Sarah was in a long committed relationship with another person, a man, that was not friend A. Yes. For 3 years. So it was like, there was no way. And then we found out that Alex wasn't actually, someone that friend A had met on Hinge, but Alex was someone that friend A had, Alex was someone that friend A had met at a work party. And they didn't even know each other.
What?
It was just a completely fabricated relationship.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
What?
Insane stuff. Insane stuff.
What? That is fucking crazy. Like the levels of lying. Why would you go through all that just to lie and lie and lie? I don't understand. That is crazy.
Yeah,
and for what? For what purpose does it serve?
I don't know. I still don't know. It's like at this point it's sort of like I hope it's a fun story, because I think in the moment it was like, wow, is this actually happening to me?
Yeah, is this real life?
Like,
yeah.
Is this a soap drama? What's going on? The plot twists are crazy.
Fuck? Yeah. Oh my god.
But like, now it's like I hope she wrote like a letter to me like a year after we had the confrontation. And like I was kind of just like at the very end of our call I was like, listen, I think a lot of these things were not meant to be harmful, but also I can't trust you as a friend anymore. I just feasibly cannot trust you as a friend anymore, and I cannot be your friend anymore. I wish you the best. I think we should go our separate ways. And I just never talked to her again since.
Yeah.
And she sent me an email about a year later, basically apologizing and saying that she went to therapy. And I hope she did. I hope she did. I hope she went to therapy, and I hope she's getting better. And I hope whatever that was pushing her to, I guess, like have to put on this face, kind of like kind of lie upon lie. I hope whatever was pushing her, whatever insecurity or something happening at home, or like a personal like gripe or jealousy or vendetta, whatever, like whatever it was, I hope that she has grown from it, and I hope that she is a more well adjusted person.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's an insane story. Oh my god. Holy shit. Yeah, no. I can imagine how paranoid it would make you.
I'm paranoid of everyone.
No, but that makes sense though. Like honestly, after going through something like that, you would be paranoid of everybody you come across, because it's like, so are you lying too, or are you lying too? And like I understand seriously.
Yeah, I've been working with my therapist to try to we've been trying to work on recognizing that not everyone is out to get me.
Yeah.
Because I definitely think I have that mentality of like, the moment someone it sucks too, because the moment someone acts nice towards me, I'm already like, what do you want from me? You know?
Yes.
Like
Yes.
that's my immediate reaction of like, what do you want from me? You know, like what are you trying to gain from me? It's like in my head, there's no possible way someone could just be nice to me for the sake of being nice to me, you know?
Yeah.
It's like there's always something else to gain.
There's always like an ulterior motive.
Mm-hmm.
No, I get you. Like I have pretty bad trust issues too, but like I think it's normal to become paranoid, especially after such a life-altering thing that happened to you. Like it like I mean it's a good story now, but like going through it must have been like crazy.
Oh, it was so rough. It was so rough, girl.
Oh my god,
Girl.
I would have felt crazy crawling up the walls.
Though, it was the first time I ever cried in front of my friends. You know, it was the first time I kind of broke through my shell of like, guys, I can't take this anymore. You know, like this is fucked up. This is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like I'm so upset. You know, like it was the first time I really like let that kind of logical shell down, I think. And so all in all, you know, like I think although it was an ass situation, I do also think it was a catalyst for me breaking out of kind of like my purely logical approach to life, you know?
Yeah. And that's good. So at least you still gain something from it. Yeah. I think I understand,
it didn't have
though.
to happen in that way, but you know.
I know.
Tis life, right? Tis life.
Life sucks. Life sucks sometimes. But no, I get you. Because with like this whole like intuition thing that I just mentioned to you, it's very difficult sometimes to differentiate between your own biases and your paranoia. So I do the same thing with like I think I do like the opposite thing of you maybe, where like I hold on to that feeling and I go, there's no way this is gonna happen, and then it happens and I'm like, well like I'm
definitely the opposite of like, well, if I sense something happening, immediately I am pulling out, you know, like
yeah.
My pullout game is strong, guys.
Oh my god. Her pullout game is strong. Yeah, no, I get you. Like for me, I think there needs to be a good medium between the two of us, because you like pull out immediately, right? In my case, I just sit there and I let them shoot me 57 times until until the 58th time, and I'm like, oh, okay, so they're not a good person. And my intuition is like, yeah, you didn't get that from the 57 out of the times they shot you. Oh my god, it's so stupid. I'll be like, no, that's a coincidence. No, that's a coincidence too. No, like my intuition is wrong. That's also another coincidence. And then all the coincidences stack up, and I'm just like, wow, I have been shot 57 times.
There's definitely like believing the best in people, and then there's also definitely like believing the worst in people. You know what I mean? Like I definitely think I'm on the spectrum of I believe the worst in people so that I can't be disappointed, you know?
No, I get you. Yeah. Sometimes I feel like disappointment is like a lot worse sometimes than being hurt. Cause like there's anger, and then there's like you know, like being upset that like somebody let you down. But then there's disappointment in the sense of like, wow, like I expected more from you and you just disappointed me. And like there's
like with that friend, I went into that call fully being like, okay, this could be just a big misunderstanding. I could be the asshole here. And if so, I will apologize. I will, you know, like have a talk with them about it. You know, like we will work through this and I will admit to my faults. You know, like I fully went into the conversation feeling that way. And in the moment, like, you know, things started getting proven right, that all these things that I felt were actually true, I was like, wow, I'm just upset now because you just actually didn't meet any of my expectations. You know, it's like, you were just faking all of this the entire time. Like you disappointed me. You know, it's like, it's the worst.
Yeah, because it's like, you're like, oh, maybe it's not the case. Like, maybe it's not like actually like that's not what's happening. And like you make so many like excuses, not just like because you don't want to be disappointed, but because like you still have hope that like that's not the case, you know. But then you get proven right. And it's like the worst feeling in the world. Like I think
it really is, yeah.
Yeah, like I think I ignore my intuition sometimes because I don't want to be proven right. But like 10 out of 10 times I'm right. You know what I mean? Like for me in my case, because I've always had this like feeling, right? Like I've always been psychic. Okay. And I only recently started calling myself psychic because I think it's such a stupid label, but It's like there's no other explanation for it, right? For the things that I know and the things that I feel. Like I think I did another reading for somebody where I knew that like her cat, which unfortunately have passed, I knew that her cat like loved to be at her feet, loved to sleep at her feet, loved to, rub against her ankles and stuff like that. I couldn't have known that because I don't know that person that well, that like I know how her cat was when, it was still here. But I think that with the burden of knowing a lot of things comes the burden of like, I don't want to be proven right again. I don't want to I don't want to be right again. Like I'll meet somebody and I'll be like, sometimes, like when you meet somebody, you just get like, you just don't like them, or like you just get this feeling.
A vibe,
maybe. Yes. I
vibe check.
consider myself an expert vibe checker by this point. Like sometimes I'll just meet somebody and I'm like, wow, there's something off about you, but everybody loves them, correct? And that's like the worst part. Like when like everybody loves them and you're like, I mean, like, I'll still interact with them, but then there's just like this nagging feeling at the back of your mind where like something is wrong, something is up with that person, and then I get proven right again, and I'm like, ah!
Yeah,
just one time.
It's the worst feeling when I think I had this one. This was like back in the gaming scene. This wasn't even in like the VTubing scene at all. But like I had this one guy that was in the Discord that I was gaming in, where he made a really inappropriate comment towards me, but everyone really liked him for some reason.
What?
Like it was like we were playing Valorant, I think, and he was he like I made it like a headshot, and he was like, "Yeah, you shoot them heads, baby." And I was like, "What the fuck? I don't know you like that."
What the fuck? What?
I was like, bitch, I don't know you like that.
Yeah, what the fuck?
But like, everyone really liked him for some reason, including the guys. And I was always just like, this is how you treat people you meet for the first time? How do you treat the people you know?
Yeah. Oh, I hate that.
Yeah. After 3 months, he got called out for being a pedophile.
No fucking way. No fucking way.
Like,
no fucking way. Oh my god. There is no fucking way. Oh my god. That is insane. That is crazy. Holy shit.
I was like, that's awkward.
That's really
I'm leaving
awkward.
this Discord now.
Holy shit. That's crazy. But yeah, that's like the whole thing with like my intuition and stuff like that. I hope that was interesting.
Yeah, that's fun to talk about.
Yeah, like I don't know. And I think, there was one time where I was reading for somebody and I go, by the way, are you having issues with your throat? And because the person's a singer, the person goes, no, I hope not. And like an hour later, she starts coughing.
Oh no.
And she messaged me, she was like, Adora,
no.
Adora, did you curse me? And I was like, no! I just predicted it. But yeah, do you have another question for me for the tarot? For the cards?
How about ooh. Will I be able to okay. So this is something I've struggled with quite a bit, where I obviously I don't have a really good relationship with my family, right?
Yes.
But I have a lot of friends here who have been very, very kind to me and like have been inviting me to like family events and stuff. Like recently I went to a one of my friends like 10-year like anniversary with her husband. And like they invited like their entire family, and I was invited as well, just like a friend adjacent type of deal, like family adjacent,
family friend. Yes.
And I actually got really sad after that hangout because for me it's like I'm still working through this feeling, but for me it's like this feeling of like I'll never really belong, no matter what family it is, because it's not my family, and I've been really struggling with this feeling. So my question is, will I be able to assimilate into this new place that I've moved to?
Okay. Oh my god. Okay. Wait. Okay. Let me do that for you real quick. So your question is, will you be able to assimilate into the place that you're living in right now? Is that correct?
I moved about a year and a half ago. But I never really quite felt like I belonged here. You know what I mean? Like everyone's very inviting. Everyone's very kind to me. And I get invited to a lot of things. Like no one ever leaves me out. But it's always at those events, I still never really feel like I belong. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I think your question might be more, will I find a place to belong maybe? Okay. So, okay. Let's see. All right, let's shuffle. So while I shuffle, maybe do you want to share like not where you have moved, obviously. I don't think you can share that, but how recently did you move?
About a year and a half ago, it was mostly because
Mhm.
I was very anxious living at home
Yeah,
with my
of
mom and
course.
all. She ended up getting like proper like in-house care and stuff like that.
Mhm.
So she is doing very good right now. She's actually doing a
Oh,
lot
that's
better now.
nice. Yeah.
Yeah, she barely has any more paranoia, so it's great. It's
Yeah.
wonderful. We can have like normal conversations again, and
Yeah.
I've been working through my feelings about the matter. Like
Mhm.
it's definitely been a situation of like I want to forgive her, but there's a part of me that still holds some resentment, you know,
Yeah.
like and I'm kind of still working through those emotions, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I moved out mostly because it started getting to a point where I felt like if I didn't move out, she would just start expecting for me to be the person there for her always, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I get that.
And like I needed to move on with my life. You know,
Yeah.
I was nearing my 30s, you know, like I didn't move out of home yet, and like I
Yeah.
had to stay home with my mom and stuff like that. And I didn't
Yeah.
have free time, and like I didn't
Yeah.
get to live my 20s, you know? So like
Yeah.
I took the initiative to like just make this big change and just move out
Mhm.
here, you know? And
Yeah.
it happened to work out because I'm a lot closer to a lot of resources that Idol has now. So it's very
Oh,
nice.
that's really nice. That's really nice. And like, okay, since so you live alone now, or do you live with roommates, or?
I have a roommate, yeah.
Oh, nice. Okay, that's nice. At least you're not like alone in like a. I'm assuming this is a completely different city than where you lived in like your most of your life.
Yeah, I mean, like
Mm.
I've moved around quite a bit. Like I
Mm.
used to live in a pretty redneck area,
Mm.
and then
Mm.
I moved to a more like you know diverse area. But
Yeah.
then, like I moved to New York for a while
Mhm.
for college and then for grad school.
Mhm.
Or grad not grad school, but like prep for grad school.
Yeah.
I was working in a research lab prepping to go to
No
grad school,
way.
and then
That is still crazy to
COVID
me, by the
hit,
way. No!
and then COVID hit, and I was like,
Oh my
ah!
god, not COVID. It's always COVID. Yeah.
Yeah. Um but yeah, so
Mhm.
like I've been around.
Mm.
But yes, this city is definitely like it's a working city.
Yeah.
It's a city where like I feel like I'm among people who are also hustle and bustling, you know, like
Yeah.
um not like families, you know.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
they're on their Sigma grind set, if you
they're on the
will.
Sigma grind set, yes.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, no, I moved out
Mm.
because I felt like my mom was in a better place and I felt like I
Mhm.
could finally move on with my life. And
Mhm.
also it was just sort of like I needed to leave, you know?
You
It
need
was like I
to
don't think
be
there was a
independent now.
yeah, well there I don't think there was even a possibility for us to reconcile if I didn't leave. You know
Oh
what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah, I know what you
Like
mean.
we needed space away from each other.
Yeah, sometimes you just
Um
need to leave in order for your relationship to repair, I think.
mhm mhm.
Mm, mm.
But
I
yeah,
see.
so yeah, moved out here. I have quite a few friends out here, so it wasn't like
Mhm.
super difficult, you know,
Yeah.
like it wasn't super difficult to like find a social group or anything like that,
Yeah.
but it's more so of like I think for me, I have a lot of weird feelings about family. Like I have a
Mhm.
really hard time feeling happy for other people,
Mhm.
if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like I get this feeling, it's not jealousy. It's hard to explain. It's not
No,
jealousy,
I
but it's
kind
just
of I
this
understand. It's just like I wish I had that, but I don't.
yeah, I wish
Yeah.
I could relate to you. I
Yeah.
wish I could understand this feeling that you're expressing right now, but I
Mm,
genuinely
mm,
just can't, you know?
mm, mm.
Like recently, at the 10-year anniversary of that one friend and her husband, they
Mhm.
did a surprise like pregnancy announcement. And
Oh.
like
Mm.
all of her family were crying. They were like, you know, they were so like, you know, joyful and stuff.
Mhm.
And like I was just I couldn't feel that same way, you know? So
Yeah.
like in my head I was thinking about like if I got pregnant or if I decide to have children,
Mhm.
I think I'd be on my own, you know? I think
Yeah.
I would just be completely on my own.
Yeah.
And that warm feeling of like being congratulated, being like, you know, supported, like I don't know how to relate to that, you know,
Yeah.
in that way, especially my
Yeah.
family.
Yeah.
And so it was difficult for me to feel like I belonged, I think. That
Yeah.
was like kind of where that emotion spouted from.
Yeah. I definitely understand. Yeah. I think that it's very I think a lot of us place a lot of importance on family, especially are you Asian? By the way, you are,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
Especially, yeah,
I'm from China.
especially. Oh my god, my ancestors are from China. Um, twin. No, but I feel like especially in Asian societies and in Asian culture in general, there's this really heavy emphasis on family, like blood family and like
Yes. Mhm.
filial piety. That's like the really big one, like filial piety, like having to be loyal to your family and especially your parents, having to be, having to have this deference to your parents and your family, blah blah blah. And I think that having like family unit and like family unity is very important or like very emphasized in Asian societies to the point where if you don't really have a great family, it can kind of feel like a double-edged sword where like we have to pretend that we're this like
Mhm.
wholesome family unit, but we're not. We're not even together, stuff like that. It's
Yeah,
very
I
hard
dealt
to
with a
deal
lot
with.
of that when I was
Yeah.
younger. And
Yeah.
I think that again, it stems from that whole thing of like not wanting to be fake and wanting to be like authentically
Mm,
myself, you know?
mm,
And it's like I don't want to have to pretend like things are okay, you know?
yeah.
But sometimes it be what it is, you know? It is what it be.
Sometimes it really is what it is. And I can relate. Like, I don't really have a good relationship with my family either. So I think there's that like intense, like, it's not really jealousy. It's more like this profound sadness that you don't have what like seems to be so natural for other people, like that
Yes,
whole like
that's such a good way
family.
of yeah, that's such a
Yeah.
good way of putting it.
Yeah. It's like this profound sadness and like the keen feeling of the absence of that. Like the absence of familial warmth and familial love. I think it's like one of the worst feelings in the world. Yeah, it's one of the
Mhm.
worst feelings in the world. Like for me, I don't really have a dad. Oh my god, she doesn't have a dad. Anyways, I don't really have a dad present. So like I used to like when I would go outside, like, and this was when I was like a kid, okay? When I go outside and I saw like a dad like holding his daughter's hand, I would start crying in public. Or like I would like
Aw.
I could not, I think to this day, cannot watch like media where like
Yes. No, I totally
yeah,
get you.
yeah.
Her you have you ever watched did you watch Shang-Chi?
No, I did not. I
Okay,
should
so in
though.
Shang-Chi, there's
Mm.
a part where like the very hardened, like stern,
Yeah,
disciplined father,
yeah,
like, you know, finally recognizes his mistakes, and all he does is do like he acts with his eyes, and it's
yeah,
so you can see the emotion,
yeah.
and he just does a little head nod, but it's just so it feels so like for lack of better words, it feels so
Oh,
Asian, you know? It
yeah,
feels
yep,
like
yep, 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 yep,
this is how an Asian father would react
yeah,
in trying to make amends, you
yep,
know?
yep.
They
I can see
would
it
they would
already.
never say anything, but they would act with their body. They would act with
Yep,
their emotions and their facial expressions, you
yep,
know? But they would
yeah,
never say anything like I'm sorry, you know?
yep, yeah, yeah, 100%.
And it just
Oh my
got me,
god.
man. I was like,
No!
"Ooh!"
I would have started crying. I don't know about you.
I cried every single time I watched it, dude. I watched it I think 3
Dude.
times.
Oh my
Cried every single time.
god. Sounds like it's an amazing film. I'll probably
It's
watch it
okay.
soon. Oh, okay. No, I get you
It,
though. Mm-mm.
it's an okay film. I think it just
That one
rang well
part,
with
yeah.
me because of the Asian American side of like sort of references.
Yes, yes. Have you seen that one film Turning Red? The one with the girl who turns into a panda?
Yes, I have.
That one with her and her mom. Oh my god, that got me. That shit got me. I
Yeah.
think yeah, I can't really watch media with like positive family
No,
relationships
I
in
know what
them.
you mean.
Yeah.
I had the same criticism about Turning Red. I understand it's a kids show, right?
Mm-mm.
But it's like the whole like conclusion of Turning Red was, oh, the mom was also going through shit and generational
Yeah.
trauma is not her fault, and thus the
Yeah.
kids should forgive her, right?
Like
And it's like
no.
that's not how it works. Like that's
Yeah.
just not how it works, you know?
She still chose to impose her own standards on her daughter
Yeah,
and like
exactly.
I feel like all like Asian daughters specifically can feel that. It's like, why am I like? Why do I have to be the one that breaks the chains? Like you're supposed to be the one who broke the cycle, not me. Here we are. Like I'm dealing with it for all of you. Um, but yeah, I think that with Asian, like my point with all of this is that Asian culture in general is very focused on like family and like family unity and like blah, 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 that we kind of forget that like we can choose our own family too. We have the right to form our own family, to form our own like chosen family. I think that chosen family is as important as blood family, if not even more important, because those are the ones that you choose to share in the big moments in life with you. Because I think that, you know, a lot of people like, oh, like friendships are not the same as family, because family, like you're related by blood, you have to be there for them. But here's the thing that a lot of people don't say is that although we're related by blood, they very well could not like me, right? They very well could not love me even. Like they were related by blood, but like I don't even know if they like me, something like that. And that's a very hard thing to deal with. And so the first card that I pulled for you with regards to this question that you asked is the Ace of Swords. With the Ace of Swords, it represents someone who is going to have like a breakthrough, like a moment of breakthrough of like, this could be in your mental state of like, how do you see family, right? Like, is like family about like blood ties, or is it about who you choose to, you know, be, who do you choose to be like share your important moments with, you know? So I think that it's very like, how do I say this? This card represents someone who is going to have a moment of breakthrough, like, oh, I'm this is gonna happen, and then like it doesn't have to be like in your mindset. It could be like a defining moment, like maybe you really need somebody and you turn to someone, and that person happens to be like somebody who will be like your chosen family or something like that, right? Or somebody who alters your mindset in terms of, do I belong? How do I belong? Like I don't like, how do I belong in this place? So I think that something is going to happen soon where you kind of see through, like, you see the world from a new perspective. You see the world through new eyes of, oh, like belonging never meant having, you know, a good family relationship, like, or good blood ties. It meant like, belonging meant like me finding the people that understand me, who love me unconditionally. Because even though you're family, right, sometimes they don't love you unconditionally, sometimes they love you conditionally, you know, in terms of like, if it's like an Asian parent especially, they're like, I'm not gonna love you anymore if you're gay, or I'm not gonna love you anymore if you're this or that, or you don't get an A or whatever. And sometimes they mean it, you know. But belonging and having like a sense of familial belonging especially, that can come with having good friends, with, you know, reconnecting with your friends, or, you know, understanding the bonds of your friendship with other people even deeper, basically. And the next card that I got for you is the Chariot reversed, which kind of represents someone who feels like they don't really have a direction. And that might be you right now, like where you feel like you don't really belong in anywhere. You don't really have like a direction of like, where do I go? What do I do? You know, how do I belong? Like, I think that you've kind of not really become obsessed with, but this feeling of like belonging is very important to you, and it's something that you've been chasing for a while now, I think. So I think that you need to kind of, how do I say this, try to let yourself relax, basically. Like, it will come in time, it will come. But I think that if you keep
harder
like
said than done.
I know, if you keep trying to like force, like not force it, but like if you keep thinking like, I need to belong, or like, oh my god, something's wrong with me because I don't have a place to belong in, or, you know, things like that, you can get more frantic. And when you get more frantic, I think that it kind of pushes that away from you even more. Like, the more you want it, the more it evades your grasp. I think that you should focus on yourself, focus on you know, like your well-being first, more than anything else. Focus on yourself, and, you know, like, oh, maybe I need to be more involved in my friendships, maybe I need to be more present in my friendships, something like that. And then when you fix that, or when you start working on yourself, that is when you find the answer to what you've been looking for. Where do I belong? Right? Because the Eight of Swords, which is the second time it's come out now, represents someone who feels like they're stuck. I think that you feel maybe a little bit stuck right now in terms of like, where do I belong?
Yeah, I'm stuck everywhere, dude.
No, it's okay. I'll get some grease, and like we'll get you out of there pronto.
Oh, no. Stop, bro.
Whoa! I don't know about that. But yes.
Oh,
Oh no.
Oh no, Eight of Swords.
Oh no, I'm stuck. But yes, so to wrap it up, I feel like it's obviously, wanting the sense of belonging is very important for a lot of people. But I think that you should kind of prioritize yourself first. But there is no question about it. You will find a place to belong. In time and with, reconnecting with the people that you love, I think that remembering, how to like not remembering how to remembering like the people that were there for you in times of need and struggle and all that. I think that you will be able to find the place that you belong with no like it's an uncertain like it's certain, sorry, that you will find a place to belong. It's just like I think it's very easy to get anxious about like, oh no, like I still haven't found my place yet, like I'll be alone forever. That's not the case. I think that you just need to kind of step back and focus on yourself a little bit. Yeah, so that's all. What do you think?
Thank you for doing readings for me, Adora. That was fun.
Of course. And I had it was really nice talking to you. We talked a lot longer than I expected on different things. But you're a great conversationalist.
Yappers in a room.
For real. Like we just cannot stop. We probably would have kept going too. But thank you so much for coming on. And I hope that, I hope that the readings helped you. I really, really do.
Yeah, I honestly just enjoyed talking. It was really nice. So
thank
you so much for having me on.
Of course. And I hope that the reading helped you. I hope that you get a fresh perspective on things. And hey, I can be your retainer. If you need it, just call me. Just FaceTime me. Adora, I need like the cards. I need your guidance. And I'll be there. You know what? No matter what, I'll set an emergency bypass for you.
I appreciate you.
Yeah, so just call me whenever you need me. Call me, beat me if you want to reach me. Yup. I'm Kim Possible if she was a psychic. But thank you so much for coming on. I hope you have a good day, a good night, a good rest of your week.
Thank you, and thank you for having me chat. Take care, guys.
Of course.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye bye. Okay. Yeah, that was oh my god, we talked for so long. Usually, oh my god, that was a great yapping session, I feel like. Bye na. Okay, so thank you so much for coming. That was like one of the best, I think, sessions I've ever had. Yenna is so easy to talk to and so sweet, so thoughtful, so mature. She has like, I think, one of the best like energies and like the best spirits that I've ever had the fortune of meeting. Yenna is amazing. An amazing friend, amazing entertainer. Please go check her out. Yenna Youngblood, please go check her out. She's currently not monetized, so please go to Twitter and maybe her Patreon for exclusive stuff. But yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed that. I am going to be raiding into myself because I want to play Overwatch. Like, my bad, I want to play Overwatch, okay? So I'm gonna raid into myself, but I gotta get like some water first, so it's gonna take like a little bit. But yes, I'm gonna play Overwatch. My bad. I don't know, like I'm feeling like yappy. I'm feeling yappy today because if you guys couldn't tell, I got my voice back. Yappy! I got my voice back. We get more Adora, of course. I hope you guys liked that stream with Yenna. We're running into Adora. Her here, she's pretty cool. Yeah. So if you guys didn't know, I've been pretty sick recently, so I've been on vocal rest. So this is the first time I talk this much. I'm still a little bit sick, actually. Like, I don't know if you can tell, a little bit sick still, but I am getting through it. I'm going to get myself some honey lemon too, I think. So I'm going to, like, my waiting room screen, like my starting screen for the next stream will probably be a bit longer. I hope you don't mind. But because like I gotta go get like the water and like, I get my honey lemon and like my medicine and stuff like that just to like warm up my vocal cords. But I am so happy to be talking again. I miss talking. Holy shit. But yes, I'm gonna end now. I'm gonna raid into myself. I'm gonna start immediately. But my opening screen, my waiting, like my opening screen will probably be, like 10 minutes. So I hope that's fine. I'm gonna end now. Thank you for coming. And I'm gonna end. I'm gonna raid into myself. No way. Go say hi to Adora Fortune. Thanks for the stream. Good to hear you're feeling better. Thank you for coming. All right. I'll see you. Okay. Bye bye.